how effective is this one drop slug on the board? Because we know that South Surge himself doesn't really draw a lot of card. He
Mm-mm.
actually takes away a lot of cards from your player's hands. And the only way that he kind of draws cards, or usually the ways that he does, is by the leader's ability.
Yes.
So how effective that is. Ah.
Yes, but he does have some cards that do offer some draw, including that Xeno card. All your
Mm-hmm.
super combos are normally Paraguses, which you can't even play early. You have to be at 4 or less life, which is kind of tricky for Cell Surge in general. So a slug can be a little bit uh, tricky to deal with, but the Demigra is one of the best ways to get rid of that slug in the deck. So he does have kind of like the soft counter for it, and
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have to see how they kind of approach this.
Yep. And when it comes to this matchup, Self Surge destroying hands, while when it comes to Gohan, he draws a lot. Which do you think is the deck that right now having the more advantage, just in terms of pairing wise against each
It,
other?
it's very tricky. I don't think it's a an auto win for either deck. We did see earlier this weekend we were able to get the win from Jeremy over Ivan, who's also playing the same deck, or at least the same leader. So we're going to see if that makes a difference based on Lorenzo's choices and everything. But I'm going to say Cell Surge. I can't. It's my brand, right? I can't say that Cell Surge can't win this, and I think it has a good chance.
All right, here we go. Starting with the board having two one drop slug on the table and also one drop basil. It is very important for him to have a lot of this one drop on the board. The reason being because when it comes to the three drop cell, three drop slug, no matter how powerful it is still a bond too. So having another pieces on the board, it's definitely going to be very very effective.
Yeah, and I
Required.
think it's a good use of his energy as well. Unlike the previous matchup that Lorenzo was in, this deck is not very aggressive, at least not until like turn
Hmm.
3, turn 4. And if you don't use your energy on your turn, there's your opponent's probably not going to give you a chance to combo or do anything. So you want that free cycle, just get that extra card advantage to try to help mitigate the hand destruction.
Hmm. Okay, so a question to you because you are the guy who actually kind of make it popular, right? The What happens if they Bandai did not do anything to that three drop cell? Do
Which
you
3?
still
Oh,
remember?
the
Just
okay,
tap
yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah. I didn't play that one. I know about it. But it's I don't know. I understand why. I think the 7 drop cell, uh, discarding cards is one thing, but setting your opponent's hand to 3 is something else, and we're in a kind of a meta where I don't know. It's so easy to discard cards, right? Like,
Yep.
Rebrand for 2 gets rid of a lot. The Cells Earth destroying Kamehameha. Heck, even if you have just 2 of the Android 18 super combos, they go down to from, well, 3 to 1 without any interaction. It can be very, I don't know, oppressive, and
Hmm.
we see these games where most decks just draw a lot of cards in the first 2 turns. They go up to 10 or 10, 12 cards, and making like a discard 9 viable is, I think, very scary.
Yep, I definitely agree with you. When it comes to Cell Search, well, the first time when I saw this leader, I thought that it wasn't that good because it does have a very powerful draw
Hmm.
ability because it gets you the card that you want. Activate main once per turn. You don't even have to swing. That means you can do it on your turn one. You take a look at the top five cards of your deck. You don't just pick a battle card, extra card, or like unison card, or a
Hmm.
card that is what, Android or something. Pick any card. So because of that, you don't have to show your opponent. Put it
Yeah,
into your
which
hand.
is
Have
huge,
mhm,
huge. Not showing to your opponent. I think it's just like
huge.
an added bonus to it.
Yep, correct. Because it's a secret area. Your opponent doesn't really know, and then you pick a card and you put it into your drop area. However, with this deck itself, there are now so many cards that you can put it into a drop area, and you can fire the effect from there. It's actually there's no minus for this leader.
Yeah, and when the card first came out, and when I played it in my first tournament, we didn't have Rebrian, and we didn't have a lot of those cards. I would pitch the kind of like the Android 17 that went with it,
Hmm.
and that
Yep.
was still free value because you could still play it from your drop area, and it's just these hidden plus ones that you don't see based on just the idea of it, but the cards that you can end up pitching.
Yeah, and with the new set that I think it was Series 10 that gave us the other Celzino. I have
Hmm.
Celzino
Oh,
at home card,
yes.
and then you could just put it into your drop area, and it's an additional +2 because you can draw a card and
Hmm.
also take a life.
Yeah, and the
Such.
self awakening was something that the leader I think was really missing. And man, I I had so many people be like, "All right, I don't know how you got Banda to make that card for you, but I have some suggestions of my own if you can help me out for my own cards." And I'm like, I had no idea. It was a huge
Yeah.
surprise, and it felt so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, talking about making your own cards, the winner of World Finals will have the opportunity to work with the card designers at Bandai
Hmm.
to help create a card. If you have that privilege and if you have that opportunity, what is the card that you are going to create?
Oh man, you're catching me on the spot. I'm just going to read some of these suggestions from the people who are playing today. So these two players who are playing today, Lorenzo, he's he just says a one drop Frieza. That is his response. I'm like, all right. And then
We
Jeremy
already do have a
says,
one drop freezer.
yeah. We have like some like the green one and the yellow one, but we don't. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know if he plays a lot of Golden Frieza, but that could be the potential there. And then Jeremy says he maybe like a black wish card to
Ooh.
symbolize the friendship between Goku and his friends and teammates. So and to
Wow.
symbolize his friendship with his own teammates and that. So that's a
Well,
little
that's
more
very
more
wholesome.
restrictive. That's for sure. But
That's
we'll
very
see.
wholesome.
Hmm.
All right. We have seen the arrival of one of this Unison card that has been around for quite some time, but it didn't really gain a lot of play. We don't really
Hmm.
see it being played a lot until the game got slower. And
Yeah.
this is the Dark Broly Unison card. In your opinion, the Self Search deck, how powerful is this
Oh,
Unison
when
card?
when I saw this card, I immediately put in self search. I felt like it
Ooh.
was kind of the boss monster that it was missing, and it
Hmm.
really just facilitated the Xeno Frieza kind of playstyle for it. This is not necessarily the version that Jeremy is playing, but it does offer the opportunity to get the boarders that can discard, get the balls, you get the pop, which means you can play the Friezas for free, and they can turn that into the other Frieza. It's very very well oiled.
Yep, I do. When I saw this card, I immediately put it into my last resort freezer deck
Hmm. Hmm.
because
You
with
get the
the
discard,
opportunity
and yeah.
yeah, to give it like double strike, why not? To give it a 20k double strike crit just for free, why not?
Yeah, and I mean that Broly is just so mean. You get to it's on turn 3 it has 5 markers. It is a 20k. It's double
Hmm.
strike, which means he just took care of the trunks from Lorenzo, and you're just in a
Hmm.
kind of good spot. And
And
you
I
get a
think,
free +1. Like it's just
yeah,
great.
no, and the worst part, it's a +2. That means
Hmm.
if it comes down at 3 energy, it does a +2. It immediately goes up to 5. A
Yeah.
5, let's be honest, a 5 marker 20k, unless you have something that is very efficient like Kai, the Kai SCR, you're not
Yes.
getting rid of it.
Yeah, unisons have been out for approaching 2 years this summer, and we've had like one or two cards to interact with them, but more or less they are very safe investments, and they can be sometimes a menace to deal with.
Yep, yep, yep. Especially this one. This one, I don't see it being removed from the board, not anytime soon. And
I
it
can
does.
count on one hand the amount of times I've seen a Dark Broly getting
Mhm.
like being hidden and getting removed from board. It is very rare.
Yep, it is super, super rare. All right, here we go. Let's check the board state right now. Our player, Jeremy, he is the self search player, and he is down to 5 life. Unawakened, all
Hmm.
3 energies are tapped. When it comes to Icarus Gohan, he has an empty board.
Hmm.
He is down to 6 life, 4 energy, and it is his turn. Yeah, maybe for you, if you have so much, you do have quite a lot of experience playing Cell Search. What are some of the strategies that you can advise our viewers here to get around a hand destruction opponent?
Oh man, I don't want to lose matches, but let me think. I think, especially in like a best of three, if you don't self awaken yourself naturally, like this Sun
Hmm.
Gohan does a little bit, but it's not like Gogeta Xeno where you have your one drops that can help awaken and everything else. You definitely want that extra awakening because the cell search isn't going to awaken you at all. He doesn't need to have to swing to get card advantage, which makes him
Hmm.
one of the best leaders. And I really do like those leaders that you can get advantage on turn one when you can't swing, and that's a bit of rarity. And we've seen most leaders that can do that. Like we've seen like the Universe Seven Frieza. We've seen the like some of the Shenron's decks that can do that. It's very good. Oh, just popping that
Yep. And
Turles.
one of the things that we did not mention about having a unison on the board that has a lot of markers that cannot be removed, it's not just the threat of that unison, that powerful
Hmm.
unison itself, but it's also the ability to free play all these cards like this charismatic villain, which is
Hmm.
so powerful, popping anything on the table that is 7 or less for free once per turn. And the worst part is, but he cannot play it because he's not a mono green, of
Hmm.
course, dormant
Dormant
potential.
potential. Yeah, that
Yep.
is the. I think that is a very fair, card design for that card. But Cell Surge kind of has its own floodgate built in, which is fantastic. It can really
Hmm.
just buy you extra turns, which you can do so much for. And he's just tapping. He's got two rebrands in there. He's like, oh man, do I tap four to make you discard four? That seems very very tempting.
Yeah, especially in the turn. Cells such can awaken at any such
Hmm.
leaders. Usually they can awaken at any point of time. You can
Yep.
awaken at 8 life, but to activate main and use your powerful such abilities, you kind of need to be usually 4 or less life or 3 or less life if that is applicable. So,
Yeah. And
yep,
with this coming, the last Surge leader was at the beginning of 2022, and Cell Surge was one of the last one, and then they kind of stopped printing them or making new ones, which I understand because most of them have been meta viable, which is kind of rare for this archetype and kind of hard to balance. But man, I think it's time to try to get some new ones, get a new wave of Surge leaders, and see if they can make an impact.
of course. One of your suggestion was very popular yesterday,
Oh, it
which
was,
is
yeah.
which was your blue and yellow buttocks. I think it's going to
Yes.
be pretty fun. But if we're just talking about viability, I think Kefla, which is our previous blue and yellow representation for
Mhm.
such, it's one of the ones that we've seen the least played.
Yes, and that's
Hmm.
part of the reason why. And the Bardock's crew, we haven't had a leader since the TP, or yeah, not tournament pack, themed booster 3, which was in 2019. So 3 years ago next month, and
Hmm.
I think it could afford another leader.
Yep. Of course, I think one of the ones that we've seen the most played are the ones that was released in set 10.
Hmm.
Self Search and versus the Goku Invoco Ultra Instinct. Those two are just such great leader cards.
Yeah, we have six of them. Two of them had to get eroded because they were too good.
Oh
Two of
yeah.
them have been, I would say, tier one since arrival, and then the other two have just been kind of tier two or on this backboard. So honestly, a pretty good ratio or percentage for leaders for that kind of thing. But I understand why they're cautious about it.
Hmm. When I was starting playing the card game, this is one thing that a lot of people told me, which is if your opponent is down to 4 life, what you want to do is to go in for the double
Hmm.
strike swing, so that your opponent, one thing, doesn't have the super combo power. Number two, he needs to defend at 10k because he is unable to awaken. So take advantage of him and go for the double strike, which is
Yes.
what he is doing now, bringing Icarus Gohan to down to 3.
Yeah, and a swing with the looks like the Frieza, maybe just to kind of force the awaken. Gohan is
Hmm.
definitely a leader you want to awaken on your own turn, just because you get that extra card draw and the extra benefits from it. So kind of forcing that is good. But higher dragon, or the Gohan higher dragon is one of the rare, I'd say, currently viable leaders that is just a straight draw two on the awaken. So that extra card draw is going to be very nice when you are in this position.
Hmm. If you're up against, especially for example, if you're up against hand destruction, you really want number one the ability to self awaken, and two, the ability to draw more cards when you awaken, because energy is not really required because your opponent most probably it's not gonna be swinging.
Yeah, and so, there's definitely a lot of pressure from Jeremy, but I think he's missing one more cells. He's at 5 life and he can awaken whenever he wants, but I don't think he wants to awaken until he can guarantee getting down to that 4 and start using effects, which just means that, of course, the activate main from the surge ability of the cell surge are very good, but if he's able to be, if Lorenzo is able to be aggressive enough this next turn, and it's going to be kind of hard for Cell to defend that.
Hmm. But now one of the things that Cell really needs to do is to focus on the board, make sure there is no battle cards and no unison card there,
Hmm.
because once he awakens, he can use one of the ability to play to make his opponent Lorenzo here to play all his battle card in rest mode. That will
Hmm.
buy him basically one turn. He just needs to take care of his unison and the leader card swing. So making sure that on the board there's nothing there. It's very high priority on his list.
Yeah. So plays the higher dragon, gets the extra draw, which is kind of like a draw two in a lot of ways, and the combo lets him draw one more. So all good stuff for higher dragon.
Hmm. All right, with higher dragon, he has the activate main ability to draw a card and then place a monster card from your draw to your battle area. And then if you combo with that card during battle, during your turn, and once during your opponent's turn, you are able to draw a card.
Correct. And paying 3 4. Ooh, just hard casting the slug as
Hmm.
a interesting choice. But I think he's realized, you know what? He hasn't seen any super combos, and that's like one of the reasons you want to get down to 4 as well. But just popping the higher dragon off that, which is,
Hmm.
I think that's fine. You need another body on board for the bond two to
Correct.
activate,
Yep.
but yeah, really, really kind of sticky situation.
Hmm. Interesting situation right now with two energies left. What is his game plan? He really needs to get another body on the board because that Lord Slug.
Hmm.
This is not counted as a body.
I mean, it will be for the rest of his turn, but not the start of his next turn. So,
Hmm. Because the Bond 2 is not two yellow cards, or this is
hmm,
not Lord Slug Army. This is
hmm,
basically just a very simple Bond 2, another body on the board. It's gonna be fine. Here we go, swing with the Lord Slug, and this is gonna be a 20k with barrier. Lord Slug also needs to be in rest mode for the effect to take place.
he finally gets down to 4. I think he's very happy to see that, and I guess they kind of recognize that that Dark Broly is here to stay. It has 7 markers. It is essentially like a second leader, like he's with 7 life. So it's going to
Yeah,
be very tricky to get rid of that.
7. It's 20k with a +2 every turn.
Hmm.
Forget it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be there. Yep.
We're done. And also with the Lord Slug in rest mode now, you can, your super combos are 10Ks, but you don't get the draw two, which or warp one draw two.
Mm-hmm. Do we know what is Jeremy using for his super combo?
Yeah, he is using the Paragus. Yes.
Okay, wow, okay.
So not going full Android, full hand destruction. Android 18 is somewhat a popular pick too, and kind of just
Mm-hmm.
how Jeremy wanted to make sure that Lorenzo awakened on his turn. I think it's the vice versa. You want to be able to get that one more proc off the awakened side of self surge, because once you're awakened, you have no way of cycling. You have very few options for that.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So if you are talking about like Icarus Gohan, you really don't want to awaken during your opponent's turn.
Hmm.
These such leader, they really, really don't want to awaken during their opponent's turn because they're gonna miss one of their most powerful such abilities. Once they awaken with their such, they have no chance anymore. They are unable
Yeah.
to draw any more cards. It's basically a countdown because even their abilities are so powerful they can only use it twice.
Yeah. And so he can Surge Awaken here too. And, I think one of the best defensive options for this is Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha. So you can get the 2 energy untapped and start using them. So it looks like that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Feels a little forced to. Doing a green ball and the yellow ape, drawing
Droid.
2
Mm-hmm.
and untapping the 2 green. And just a quick reminder, so this is Pod B. These players are both 1-1. So the winner of this match has a very good shot of making it out of pools. And then yesterday was all of Pod A and a little bit of Pod B. So Pod A, we do have our two winners from that. That would be Wang Po and Andrew Duvall. And
All
oh, he's playing
right.
not the not the Excels versus Strength Maya, but the big Majin Buu boy. Uh,
Yep.
that is a huge impact for him.
This is gonna be the SCR, and this is quite a popular SCR.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think both of us right now are looking for the card Majin Buu Kabito Kai Absorb. This is a Spirit Boost 2. Well,
Hmm.
he has a lot. Well, he doesn't have to do it because his opponent doesn't have a Unison card.
Yes.
And activate battle and main play this card from your hand, and your opponent cannot attack with battle cards for the turn. He
Yeah.
doesn't really
There's
need to activate that though.
no. I mean, it's just more of being able to get a 40k double strike next turn. That is pretty big for him, and it is one of the few ways to disrupt a unison. So, for example, if someone decided to go all in on a big unison swing, say, you know what, I'm a unison, I'm safe. You can use this activate battle to play it during it for 2, and then use the spirit boost to steal away the unison and prevent the attack from finishing.
Hmm. And I want to bring attention to BT14, right? Because
Hmm.
BT14 does have a very good selection of Unison SCR. Of course, we
Hmm.
have Majin Buu Kabito Kai Absorb. This is, I think, the one that we've seen most played.
Yeah.
But the next one is also the Super 17. That was a really, really good card. However, there are just better SCRs to be played at this point of time. But that card is also cheap, so people who are playing full yellow, those are
Hmm.
one of the options that you can do. But of course, we have the super famous one, which is the most expensive, but nobody plays it. It is the Frieza and Goku one for red.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's very interesting for what these secrets have. Like, because I remember when the first Ultimates started to come out, you're like, for the first like year or so, some colors didn't have a secret rare to use, anyways, right? And now there's
Mhm.
just so many, and now it's not. There's no clear optimal choice unless you're playing like a deck that goes into it, like Awakened Power or something. Like, there's just
Mhm.
so many choices for your favorite secret rare.
Yep. All right, here we go. I'm gonna activate a +2 and to drop one of the cards that doesn't really matter that could actually potentially draw him even more cards
Hmm.
into the drop area. It's gonna send it to Warp. I
And he's
think at
going to
this
get the
point.
draw right now just because the Bond 2 is not activated, so he can't
Hmm.
activate that. I think that's a very
Correct.
smart move. It's not going to be impossible for the another like card to come down from the area to do that. But it looks like he's saying that everything gets played in rest mode from there. So I think he's deciding that not this is not going to be the final turn for him. Oh no, he's
Hmm.
gonna he's gonna pitch a card actually.
No way.
Yeah, because you can't pop the slug. That's
Hmm.
very interesting.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. I think he is in a good position. He doesn't need to go in for it, but I think he felt that he is ready, especially with the Kabito Kai on the board.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, there's also the chance that Toa, okay,
Ooh,
another discard,
yeah, another discard. Down to two cards. One, two, three. Down to three cards in his hands.
and then I could see maybe a Rosie being played to drop 2 more cards, but
How
we'll have
many
to
energy?
see.
Three energy.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
if a Rosie comes down on the board, we have a game. So if we take a look at Jeremy's board, there is going to be a double strike swing with the Dark Broly Unison. There is going to be a single 20k swing with Cell Leader. There is going
hmm
to be a 15k swing with Towa, and also another double strike swing with Kabito Kai. So, well, this is difficult.
yeah, and Mecha Frieza still is a big kind of target to pop down. He's kept these cards, so if there's a Mecha Frieza, that will kind of end the turn there. Oh, but
Mm-hmm.
there is none. He is going to sell his Earth Destroying Kamehameha.
Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. I think he's gonna pick a Final Flash now. Once you remove that Final Flash, I think it's pretty safe because the other one it's in the energy area.
Oh, there's a Higher Dragon. You need that for
Wow,
that.
yeah, just for the draw.
Oh my
He's
gosh,
gonna.
another one. Oh, if he's got 3, I'm gonna I'm gonna flip.
Well, if he gets three, he should just show it.
Yeah,
Wow, all his draw cards. Even if that is a super combo, it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah. So he's got two 20K swings. Uh, very few hand destruction options, I think, left to him because he's only got the one card. But
Hmm.
it's going to be very tricky to get around that. And
Okay.
I think the boo's the choice because if you, I don't know, I guess you can still get Final Flash, right?
Yeah, correct. There is still a chance that it's going to be Final Flash, but a 40k base, it's still going to be very good because with that hand, he cannot combo out of 40k. You will force him to use his Final Flash.
Oh, that
Oh,
is
okay.
huge.
Hmm.
Oh, do you take the life? Do you? Oh man, that is a decision and a half now because you can tap out, and then you're kind of safe.
Yes, correct. Okay, so the situation here is this: if he pays two and tapped out, he just needs to use that blocker for another double strike. Everything's going to
Hmm.
be fine.
Yes.
If he is going to take a life, he brings him down to one. The everything on the board has still a chance to reach him. The other two cards has still a chance to reach him.
Yeah.
Take note: Cell has already used his such abilities. That means the other turn it's still going to be totally fine. Okay, he's choosing to tap down to two. He just needs
And
to block
he
this
he
one.
does have two cards on the board now, though. I'm pretty sure that blocker is going to leave immediately. But
Hmm. This is a
I
double strike.
yes, yeah.
Yep, he needs to block this one, please. And then, okay, the super combo is back online. Here we go with Towa.
And once
Swings.
again, we haven't seen any super combos from uh yeah from Jeremy. So if he had like another army reinforcements, that would have ended the turn, which is would have been crazy.
Hmm.
That's 25K, so I think that's
He's
somewhat
gonna take
safe.
it.
Yeah.
Oh no, this swing it's gonna be huge.
All right, and
Okay, I think it's game.
yep, swing in and drop the
Hmm.
hand.
This is gonna be a 20k swing with just two cards in his hands. I don't think there is gonna be pretty much any options here.
Oh,
Oh.
he drew that from the Paragus, no doubt. So make him discard another card for free.
Hmm. So
So
with the
good.
Brura's ability, he just takes away a marker from your unison. Unfortunately for Dark Broly, when one of his marker is removed by a non-keyword skill, your opponent has to discard one.
All right.
Okay,
25,
I
30,
think this is game number one.
35,
Mm-hmm.
40, single strike. And oh, he gets the one.
Ooh.
And nothing.
Okay, that's finished.
And that is game one. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of just shows Cell Search is very good in a best of one format. And I think that there's probably a lot of cards in Lorenzo's sideboard specifically for this. And we're going to have to see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, but we also see that Self Search has a lot of ability to take away all this sideboard option. For example, like Koizukai, which
Hmm.
also coincidentally plays from the drop,
Yes.
and Black Marseille too.
Yeah, just very good cards that Cell Search has like easy access to, and now that there are cards that you're playing, it's like hand destruction and hand destruction deck to like just I don't know, it just makes the punish that much harder
Hmm.
for them to do the things that they're trying to do.
Yep, and it plays into the whole theme also for hand destruction because the
Hmm.
punishment from playing a card that is 20k or less or 15k or less with a skill, it's just more hand destruction.
Yeah, and when did he get a 2-0 on Ivan when with the Cell Surge versus
Yeah.
the? Okay, that's
Hmm.
what I thought. I think that's a matchup. I don't know. Higher Dragon is just like the deck to beat. I think right now. I think a lot of people know it's good, and a lot of people are knowing that is one of their matchups going to be this weekend. There is one in each pool. There are actually three of the eight of us, or eight of the players this weekend because we had three Higher Dragons, two of the Gogeta Xenos, and an Android 16, a Cell Surge, and a Star Deck Broly. You know the the
Ooh.
standard.
Well, yesterday we had the highlight moments, right,
Hmm.
where the opponent was going in for the game, and then
Hmm.
we saw the appearance of a SCR that we never thought we would
Hmm.
ever see it play live, and it is the Primal Carnage
Yeah, and
part
that's
of
that's the
stage.
thing because there's just so many secret rares that exist right now.
Hmm.
You don't have to run a secret rare, but it's pretty much for common practice because why not? It can win you the game on the spot. Sometimes it has some really good effects, and it did very good. Not only on the offense or not on the defense, but the offense as well. Because we saw against Jared with Android 16, he was able to play five and win with just the raw power of that and yeah, it's just a very good card when used optimally.
Yep, correct. And the one thing about SCR is that the best thing is this is not a best of one format. This is a best of three. There's
Hmm.
one thing that you cannot sideboard is SCR. So you can take your
Yes.
opponent out by surprise maybe once,
Hmm.
but other than that, when it comes to round two and three, your secret it's
Yeah,
already out.
and I think it's more of a it's hard to enforce making sure that you only have one secret rare in your deck, and you didn't mix them with your sideboard or stuff like that. I think that's probably the reason why. But there's definitely a lot of times when like, oh man, I wish I could switch, have a secret
Hmm.
rare in my sideboard, or even like some super combos, or even very, very old, like, oh, there's some like Dragon Balls for my wish decks that, some of these Dragon Balls are
Hmm.
good against certain matchups, but I can't side them in, and it stinks.
Yep. So take notes. Viewers, you cannot have more than one secret rare in your deck, including sideboard. You
Hmm.
cannot have more than four super combos in your deck, including sideboard. And you cannot, nobody's saying you cannot sideboard your super combo.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
nobody is not going to play, nobody is going to not going to main four super combos in their deck, in
Oh,
their main deck.
excuse me. I have made too many decks. I'm like, man, I have exactly 50 cards. I've done it. And then I'm like, oh, and I'll publish a video or I'll put up a screenshot and be like, excuse me,
No super combo.
no super. I'm like, no wonder I felt like I had so much extra room.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just talking about four cards doesn't feel like a lot if we're talking about a deck that's 50 to 60, but
Hmm.
no, really, something is missing. Sometimes I think both of us we make a lot of our own decks idea, but I do get that feeling sometimes, and you go like, wow, this deck feels like it's easy. I don't have to crunch the numbers. I don't have to
Hmm.
take anything out. Something that's very, very wrong there.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. There's something's missing. You just
Yeah,
haven't
maybe
noticed
you
it yet.
forget your negate. There is no negate in the deck. There is no super combo would be the worst.
Hmm. And I
Yeah.
do like the it used to be a hard 50. Now this 50 to 60 I think is a really good
Hmm.
compromise for that. And I don't know, I normally run like 54 cards, and I know that's bad, but I do like there's just so much cycle in this game. There's so much consistency in drawing cards and finding cards that having those couple extra cards I think doesn't hurt you
Hmm.
more than it benefits you.
I think I tried to cap myself at 52. And the interesting part is all for those decks that does have a few cards that starts immediately when they play, like for example, like Android 21 or the BT7 Broly, I'll play 51 because
Hmm.
that one card really just doesn't count
Yes, yeah, yeah.
into your
Some
main
decks,
deck.
yeah, and some decks can run 49 cards because they play like an extra card, field card from the start of the game, and that
Hmm.
makes it super consistent if you really, really want it to be.
Yep. So here we go. We start with Cell Kamehameha. The hand destruction has really started.
It has.
Mhm. It's a really good choice. Previously, I really commented on Lorenzo play. I really like the option of Chi Chi just playing one to draw one. It doesn't really target the leader because he's not playing against blue. Unfortunately, we
Hmm.
don't see a lot of blue showing in this finals. However, she has barrier. She's going to
Yes.
stay on the board. She's going to help out Lord Slug.
Yeah, and I do like so normally turn one you want to play a demi, but I think in this matchup, just being able to use all your energy efficiently is just huge for you, and it's very interesting to see that there's two energy open for Lorenzo. You'd think he'd want
Hmm.
to try to cycle some more cards or get some more cards out there, but maybe I was going to be curious what he's leaving that energy open for.
Yep. Interestingly, top five, he's gonna pick a card. We shall see what is some of his options. No, we were never gonna see unless he immediately
Hmm.
takes that card and put it down. But
But a good player shuffles their hand first and then shows the card. Yeah, there you go. It could have been there the whole time. Who knows?
yeah, it's gonna be tapping two just to draw that two cards. What is the why? Do you think it's because he doesn't have Ribrianne on his hands to do this hand destruction, or do you think that just drawing more cards would be the better option here, strategy wise?
It seems to me that he's not finding the pieces he wants, and so he's
Okay.
trying to dig a little bit deeper. That's
Mm-hmm.
the nice, and it looks like his opponent's not being too aggressive with hitting the life and stuff, and you definitely want to see your 9-drop Celsinos. So
Mm-hmm. And why do you think it's because also when it comes to Icarus Gohan, does it help if you're a little bit more aggressive when it comes to self awakening?
yeah, you want to awaken as soon as possible. You get that
Okay.
extra, that extra card draw is huge for you. The extra cycle and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. Even though your opponent's not going to swing on your turn, or sorry, on their turn very often, you definitely want that.
All right, here we go. So we are down to 6 life for Icarus. That
Hmm.
means if the opponent most probably it's not going to swing, it's going to take additional 2 turns before he can get access to more of this draw power.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how defensive he is about being, at 8 life. And after discarding that 8, that feels kind of bad because those are both barriers. Oh, but he's just passing. Wow, he's not swinging with it
Okay, interesting.
because you do need to be in rest mode for you to get the draw stun from it. Correct?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, but he's gonna tap two and just go to the Goku. Maybe what he is trying to do right now is trying to bait out, let him draw cards. He's fine with him drawing cards, but just don't destroy his hands. Because if he's gonna tap that slug, there's a high chance that Ribrianne is not gonna be on the energy. The Ribrianne is just gonna be in the drop area.
Yeah, and maybe he's trying to say like, okay, you know what? He's got turn 3 going on. Dark Broly is on the around the corner. If I swing, then he has somewhere to swing into with his Dark Broly and maybe pop
Ooh,
it. So
true. Yep.
uh, you get some when you're swinging to a battle card and they want to keep it alive. It's hand destruction, right? Because you have to combo to keep
Hmm.
it living, and it's kind of like those one of those edge cases for where you're thinking, what is actual hand destruction? So
Yep, correct. So he's gonna send this, and he's gonna draw a card and take a life. So this is. Oh no, he's not
No,
doing
no,
that.
he's saying, you know
He's
what, 8 is the number I want to be at for the entire game. So
mhm,
let's get it.
additional +2. Hmm. That card, draw ape, used to be very very expensive.
Oh yeah, and yeah, just a quick reminder. So the Group A standings. I don't know who was first seed and who's second seed, but we've got Wong Po and Andrew Duvall moving to next weekend from there, and then we're still figuring out Pod B today.
I know Wangpo is from Singapore, representing Asia. Where is Devol from?
He is from America.
Ooh, so we have a representative from America and we have a representative from Asia
Correct.
going to going to our finals.
Correct.
Hmm. All right. I cannot be a little bit more proud over here because I'm representing Europe over here for commenting,
Hmm.
but originally I am from Singapore.
Yes, that's yeah,
Hmm.
I do know that. So it is good that I'm actually from Canada, so I don't have a rep, but my rep extends to North America, but
Yeah. Hmm.
uh, I'll take what I can get.
Woohoo! It's gonna be a battle to the death. All right, here we go. Tapping one for Basil. I think getting all this card draw is important, even though it's a -1/+1. However,
Hmm.
just putting some board pressure on the board, it's going to be great. Swinging with Slug, and I think he feels comfortable right now to do that.
Yeah, it's very interesting how defensive that Jeremy was being with his life. He was playing as if he had 1 or 2 life when he had
Hmm.
full 8. So yeah, very interesting.
Yep. And he is leaving that one energy open. I'm pretty sure he does have another cell Kamehameha to take him out of this swing. However, he
Hmm.
chooses to take life. Both of the players have a pretty big hand right now, but never underestimate the power of self search. There's a reason why he is highly represented in regionals finals and also worlds finals. It's a very good leader and a very efficient leader at hand destruction.
Definitely. And I think so. This is game 2, which means that presumably Renzo has sided in his Gohans and his Demigras to kind of mitigate that hand destruction. So it's going to be interesting to see how you can kind of get around that.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Let's see what are some of the options here. We have not seen some hate cards on the board. So we are not seeing things like Koizukai. We are not
Hmm.
seeing things like Black Marseillan. Yeah, so pretty interesting. I think maybe there is no reason why he doesn't want to bait it out. So maybe
Hmm.
that is the reason why he's doing that, making sure that he keeps his energy open, draw more cards instead of giving Lorenzo here the opportunity to draw more cards because of his ability.
And there is the army reinforcements, which you will play for free to take the life. You do have to be at
Mhm.
5 or less life to play it for the cost of 1 life. But I think there's just more cards for him to have access to. And honestly, it just looks like Jeremy has not seen the cards he needs to go off as hard as he did last game.
Yeah, it could be that way though, or the other way, which is just this hand destruction stuff, which is maybe Lorenzo here does have things like Debura
Hmm.
or that Gohan in his hands. Because the if you take a look at the hand destruction strategy when it comes from Jeremy, it's all at random.
Hmm.
He didn't let Lorenzo chooses. But we
Yeah.
will be seeing it soon because there is no reason why not to activate that +2 ability to make his opponent drop. So we should be able to see if Lorenzo here are prepared for this. Keeping 3 energy open, so he can do a lot.
Yeah, and the big thing is, I think he. Oh no, that was just the leader effect. Yeah, if he wanted to discard something with Broly, it can just be a straight, additional advantage just being able to get the cards out. But he's updating that to 5, but no effect. He's just doing it to get the markers to it.
Mhm. So he knows that Lorenzo does have. There's a high chance that Lorenzo has some options. Just
Hmm.
better not do that. This is going to be very very interesting matchup because now we see that Cell Surge it's going up against Gohan, potentially a full powered Gohan with a lot of hand size. And now Gohan it's going to awaken. That means the card drawing power it's going to be on. The pressure is going to be on. The match is now getting started.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
So we're kind of, I don't know. We'll see. The slug swing I think is pretty needed because it turns off any super combos once again
Mhm.
that have any card draws.
Yep. And guys, if you are just lamenting and you say, "Hey, this slug it's very expensive," no worries. There's a huge reprint. This slug has dropped down. Unless you want it in this version, the
Hmm.
non-foil version, it's actually pretty affordable
Oh,
right
oh,
now.
he could. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking dormant. Yeah, so he pops the basil. It's not dormant, where you can pop up to things with 2 or less. Just one thing.
Yep. Dorman, however powerful it is, does have a limitation which applies to Cell Surge because Cell Surge is not a mono green leader.
Hmm.
I learned that the hard way playing it, and then someone says, "No, you can't play that." I was like, "Why?"
I think everyone's made that mistake once, and it is not. And honestly, I think that's like part of the problem with search leaders in general. There are just too many color identity cards that don't require mono color leaders. I think that's where they can get in trouble sometimes.
So now you see the power of Icarus Gohan after he awakens every time, every activate battle once per turn when he combos with a monster card, he
Hmm.
is able to draw one. It's an interesting strategy over here, keeping his hand life total up for self search. Maybe he was just preparing for this aggression coming from Gohan. While that's a huge hand, I think he
Hmm.
should be very happy about this one.
Yeah, I think he's playing a lot better. And once again, I think Jeremy's not seeing the cards he needs. And honestly, having the high life total and then also having that Broly where you can have your swings actually be more impactful is a little tricky.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this is a very high stake match between Jeremy, who is from France, and Lorenzo from Italy.
Hmm.
Both are my how would you call this? My European neighbors,
Yes.
and and this is they should be around my time zone, and we are playing it at 19:30. So this is 7:30 p.m. Central European time. And so this is a fun part about the Dragon Ball Super card game Worlds Finals, right? Because
Hmm.
this is the world we're bringing people and players, cast, hosts, people who are working behind the scenes to bring you this stream from all over the world, and we are working towards many different types of time zone. And it's not just us, but also the viewers in the stream who
Hmm.
are joining us from all over the time zone. So if you are there in the stream, please us know if you would like to. Where are you from, and what is the time zone? What is the time for you right now for at your city?
Yes, yeah, yeah. It is just about high noon for me in the Western, but not Pacific time. I'm in that weird mountain time
Mm-hmm.
right now, and I'm also I'm also in Arizona. So depending on the time of the year, I'm either in Mountain Time or Pacific Time. It's very interesting, but we'll see. And definitely doesn't mess me up when I interact with people online from all over the
Yeah. Tell
world.
me, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm in Central European time, but this is only in winter because
Hmm.
I think after October the 10th or something like that,
Hmm.
or November the 11th, we switch to summertime, something like
Hmm.
that. I always forget, and
Yeah.
we have Central European summertime
Yeah.
daylight saving. Yep.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So that's the thing. So Arizona does not observe daylight savings, so that's why it changes time zones.
Well, okay, now from the stream we have Utah 11:30. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us. And also 10:30 from some of the people viewing. We have 19:30, UK 6:30, 18:30, 19:30. 19:30 are people who live near me, and there is
Yes.
somebody from 15:30. Oh, Belgium, so 19:30, so pretty near
Yeah.
me. Yep.
Hmm. Hmm.
Michigan 1:30 a.m. 12:30 from Texas. Welcome. Is it AM? No, it's PM. I'm
PM.
pretty
Yeah.
sure
Yeah. Yeah.
Michigan it's
Yes.
PM. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That'd be insane. Michigan's, it's not close to me, but it's in the same country. So for them to
Mhm.
have it be one
It's in the
thirty.
same line, I think. Should be not too far. Ooh, Nadia.
Yeah.
3 a.m. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. We see a hate card already in his hands, Koizukai. But it doesn't matter if Koizukai is in the drop area, he has to activate it by paying
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But he's not choosing to activate it.
Yeah. Interesting. He's
Interesting.
gonna
Yeah.
drop this one. Yeah, good one. The I always call it Celzino at home.
Hmm.
Mhm. I think we spoke about this yesterday, right? When it comes to Koizukai itself, I think it is a little bit overpowered. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. But what's keeping it under control? It's the price point and the availability of the card. With the recent reprint, we will be seeing this card and we should get ready. However, there's no
Oh
other
my
ways to interact
goodness.
with this card because it is being activated from the drop area. So,
All right, this is a crazy play. So
ooh.
he's doing that to pop the slug and the basil, assumedly, but
Hmm.
having to do the whole 3 cost for it. So a lot of resources to go into that. I know he doesn't have a unison up, but yeah, that's crazy. And he's got 6 life. He's just playing very slowly.
Yep. There is no other option when it comes to the cell search players, right? Because there is an option which is just to swing your Dark Broly 20k onto the slug and apply some pressure to make your opponent combo off. But take a
Hmm.
look at Lorenzo's hand. That hand size, it's gonna tell you that that slug it's gonna stay on the board.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
And so, he took 2 life from the two Sozinos that I would say were stuck in the drop area because, I mean, you could activate them, but you couldn't get the card draw from deck. It
Hmm.
looks like he's counting his hand. He has about 13 cards, if I counted correctly. He is at the 4, so he can start doing some surge abilities if he really wants to, and get an additional untap 2 for some extensions. So it looks like he's hard, yeah, doing a hard thing in that Koitsukai.
He, ooh, it's gonna be the ape. Wow.
Wow, just the 1 drop ape. So this is the
Hmm.
one of the promos from this year. You can pay the one to only draw one. So Not as much card draw as the 2-drop ape, but a little bit more flexibility. And he gets
Yep.
the untap 2 from there as well. The nice thing too is that he can play another Dark Broly, and then with the search ability, anything that's played gets played in rest mode, so he can kind of buy himself another turn too.
hmm but however, we know that when it comes to the Icarus player, the unison plays a very big part in this strategy, which is so he's going to deal with a unison that's come in alive, able
Hmm.
to swing, and that unison is going to be Trunks, and it's going to swing 2 times 20k. As much as we know that Dark Broly is good, that Trunks it's also really good.
Yes, definitely a good card.
Yeah. Mhm. But that's what I like about this rotating thing. When something gets hit, the game lasts a little bit longer. Some cards that are good, but they are not good, they are not played because they just takes a little bit too long to play. For example, like Dark Broly and like for example that Trunks Unison, we're slowly getting to see them coming into play now.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So using the surge ability,
To drop so he has hand destruction
yes.
available and he also does have draw available and he decided to use this draw. That tells me that
Oh, a Rosie.
so now that we can see whether is he able to get the card draw back.
Hmm.
hmm
Okay,
Rosie
so
is such a great card, especially if you're playing green. You have
yes.
to unfortunately hard cast this guy. Ooh,
Oh, but it has the
great
flex.
response.
Oh no, that's just the cards you're discarding.
hmm
So paying the 1 for the Deborah to draw 2, which
hmm
just means you don't really. It gets played in rest, yeah, but yeah, because yeah, I wasn't sure if he's playing the Goku, but it looks like he's starting his swings.
The first swing, it is going to be triple strike, and the first swing, it should be going to the leader because I don't think he care much about having that Debura on the board, but the leader, I think he wants to remain at a healthy 4.
I think he's swinging on the Deborah for sure because
Yep.
that also is another swing that can happen next turn because it's been played already and everything else.
hmm
Super combo.
Yep. And you know what I like about playing that Rosie? That Rosie, I love it when it's against blue because
Mm-hmm.
they really have no other option against this because unfortunately their counterplay Rosie has deflect. It's going to
Yeah.
come on the board and it's just going to remove so many markers from their unison.
Yeah, and blue's definitely a color that's very efficient in what they're doing, and so
Mhm.
I think that makes it incredibly susceptible to hand destruction.
Yep. They are very efficient when it comes to energy. They're very efficient when it comes to RAM. They have the strongest way to counterplay a card. Unfortunately, they do not have the power of. They do not. They're sorely lacking draw power most of
Yeah,
the time.
and using the negate there, getting
hmm
another token out. It is in rest mode, but it
Yep.
can be another swing next turn, which you do not have a lot of. Now you do have 3 swings with battle cards, 1 with leader, and I would assume that there's probably a Trunks Unison in the hand as well to help get 2 more 20k swings in.
Yeah. That hand. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Look at the hand size. That's huge. Did you
and
manage to
so
count it?
Koitakai hits the blockers played from the counters attacks too, right?
Yeah, I think so. We
Yeah.
need some help. I think it happens yesterday.
Well, that was with Black Mass Sand. I definitely remember that, and Black Mass Sand does
hmm
not hit it. But let me see. Let me see what Quaid says word
Okay.
for word.
But it's definitely a very good play, like what you said over here, because he cannot play battle cards during his turn. He
Hmm.
can, but everything is going to come down tap. So saving
Yeah.
the Debrua, it's going to be good because now he can untap it and use it for swing to
Hmm.
just get around the search leader's ability. And now with that 5 energy, tapping 3 to play that Trunks Unison, it's definitely a very good option because battle cards, unfortunately, it's not going to be very viable here.
Yeah. So Koisakai says, yeah, draw cards, and then after that, if your opponent plays a battle card with 20k power or less, they choose 2 cards from the hand. So there's the warp. So it would stop both the the Debor from it would hit both the Debor and the blocker because they'd have to discard or warp two rather for each.
Hmm. So it was a very interesting choice that our South Such player Jeremy decided to tap one and use to draw that one instead of activating Koizukai.
Yeah, and obviously I don't know what's in hand, right? But that is definitely it's an alternative route he could have taken.
Hmm. Okay, here we go. Let's see what are some of the options. Take note that South Such player is totally tapped out. Um, so it is going to be pretty dangerous for him. Let's take a look. What are some of his options here? The first
No,
swing, 15k.
yeah, I will say the saving grace is that there's not a slug out on the board, just because
Hmm.
all of his super combos are live, which is nice. But I'm gonna guess there's a bunch of junk in hand that he can't use.
Yeah, okay, yeah, especially how powerful that Cell Kamehameha is, he still needs that one energy.
Hmm.
Yep. And the probability game is just not on his side because Cell, when your opponent is down with his hand size, when you're just gonna snipe a card at random, there's a high
Yeah,
chance that you're gonna snipe something that is important. However, with that brick of a hand that Lorenzo is having,
yeah.
just not possible. Yep, I don't think so. Unless you get very lucky. He's gonna take that one damage. Wow, okay. 25k. He doesn't want to combo out of it. And take note the swing also, it's going to the Lira. That kind of signifies that he doesn't, maybe he wants to end the game this turn already.
I think that is exactly what he wants. Yeah, Cell Surge does not hit unisons, so if he does have a unison that he wants to try to end the game with, I think that is the case. And if he does, he can use the +0 to pop the Rosie anyways. So
Hmm.
I think he's probably in a good position.
Yep, correct. And it's a +0, so he should use it anyways because it's not a minus and it doesn't really make any difference. Um,
And there's that Paragus, and you know, what? Yeah, Jeremy also has a pretty large hand and gets rid of that unison he can't combo with anyways.
mhm.
So just showing how good that Paragus is as a super combo.
Yeah. There's something I like about this card game design, right? Which is unisons are very powerful. So
Hmm.
it actually incentivize you to play unison.
Yeah,
However, unison, it's a dead hand when you need to go for to finish the game because you cannot combo with it.
yeah. And
Okay.
there's that Trunks. So that's definitely going to be two more swings that Jeremy is not happy to see.
Mm-hmm. And he can swing with Chi Chi also, and he can swing with the 10k on the board because I believe that 10k doesn't have any combo power. Unfortunately, of course, we have seen Lorenzo playing Champa, so there's always that option. The first swing with this Trunks, let's take a look.
Yeah, and he's got like the three horsemen of like hard to remove cards. He's got a barrier card, he's got a unison card, and he's got a token. Which, unlike other card games I've played with, tokens can actually be very tricky to get rid of because they don't have an energy cost.
Hmm. So when it comes to Lorenzo himself, Jeremy himself, it is very important. Don't get into the double strike range because it is
Hmm.
going to be very problematic.
Yeah, and comboed a Paragus to get rid of another Demigrat in hand.
Um,
Was that the first swing with the Trunks? Did he not
yeah,
restand it?
it is the first swing with the Trunks. I think he just forgot to restand it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hmm. He already, yeah,
Oh,
he
okay,
told
yeah,
him.
there you go.
Sportsmanship, really
Yes,
nice from Jeremy.
yeah. It you do not have if you miss the trigger, you can fail it. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a lot of sportsmanship
So
there.
if he wants to Rushak it, it's possible.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, here we go. So he really wants to get it in. That tells you a lot that there is going to be a double strike swing. There is going to be a double strike. So he really doesn't want to take this.
yeah, and I think what separates the strong players from the best players is knowing exactly how much to combo to put
Hmm.
the right amount of pressure on your opponent, because he can make this a 40k super easily, like, right, or a 30k.
Yeah.
But just saying, just a calm casual 20k, we'll see how that goes. A third Paragus super combo, I'm going to guess he's just sitting on a lot of those. He hasn't done a lot of development for this game, so I think
Hmm.
it's a good call to say that those are there.
Okay. If you are Lorenzo right now, do you think that 20 is good? Because right now it seems that he's finished, right? There is no way for him to finish this game.
I think 25K is always the magic number for that kind of stuff. So I would have thought to add a little bit more pressure, but
Make him
he's
commit at least one more card, at least a
mhm.
-1.
I mean, if he goes 1 for 1 for card advantage, I think that Lorenzo has the upper hand right now, but we'll have to see.
hmm Here we go. This is going to be the second swing. It should be the final swing, even though overrounds and everything, it's not available here. The problem is Cell's such ability. It's online and active. That means every
Hmm.
single battle card that he is going to be having, it's still going to be played in rest mode.
Yeah, so it looks like to me he's kind of decided, you know what, I don't have the gas to try to finish this turn, I guess. I
hmm
mean, if it does do damage, he could just go all out on that Chi-Chi with the barrier and try to get big double strike. But we'll see. We've seen one drops finish games like that before. It's always very fun to see. Oh, and the fourth Paragus, my goodness,
Yep.
yeah, he had all four.
hmm So the difference between Paragus and Gohan is that with the Gohan super combo, it is a 0+0, okay? You
Hmm.
put a card back into the bottom of the deck, and you have to do it first before you
Yes.
draw.
Uh,
Paragus, you draw
yeah.
2 and send 1 to Warp.
Yes, and he's always a 10K combo too.
hmm
So uh, Paragus is, I would say, strictly better, despite having to send the card to warp instead of bomb deck.
hmm So right now, I think Lorenzo is sitting quite comfortably, even though Jeremy does have quite a lot of energy with one of his Cell Search ability online. He does have two cards in his two energy open, lots of cards in his hand size, a lot of battle cards on the board. Should be all right. He
All
should
right,
be fine.
he's playing that Koisekai now. He's saying, you know
Yep.
what, this is going to be a big turn for me. Let's get that gas and go from there.
hmm So when it comes to Kozukai, his opponent Jeremy Lorenzo, it's unable to play anything 20k or less, and that is very important because a lot of this counter hand destruction strategy uh, plays around having to play cards that is 20k or less. So
Yeah,
he can't do that unless he wants to hand destruct himself every single time.
getting that
Ooh,
draw two from it.
take a look at that deck.
Yeah, not a lot. If he's, I don't think that Lorenzo is playing a ocean, but if he is, he just kind of wins on the spot here.
Yeah, he can't play Ocean because he has to
Oh, that's
respect
right.
Koizukai.
That is, well, yeah, he can play ocean, but I still take that trade. I still play ocean, discard two, and make it
Yep.
so my opponent can only swing like one more turn this, or one more time this turn.
What if he plays Smoke Dragon SCR? Meal
That
7.
is that we've seen crazier secret rares this weekend. I will
Yes.
I will not put
Give
that
us
out.
another one. Give us another
Yes.
one. Smoke Dragon SCR. Just meal Cell Search out.
I think the big thing about Smoke Dragon is it doesn't have deflector barrier, right? And so, yeah, it's a big boy, but there's just too much interaction for those cards right now.
hmm And also take no Koizukai also hit one of the stronger negates that the Icarus player Lorenzo has, which is Repulse. We
Hmm.
have not seen Repulse so far.
Yes,
hmm
it will cost him a lot to play it though, but
Yep,
it can end the turn.
it can end the turn because his opponent doesn't really have a lot of cards to tap, and leaving the two energy maybe to defend himself the next turn might be a good idea. So let's see. I think he can afford it. He can afford it, not just energy wise, but also from his hand size wise. All right, here we go. Hand destruction strategy. Um, Jeremy here does have a smaller hand size than our Icarus player, Lorenzo,
Hmm.
though. So Lorenzo seems to be like in a better position. Here we go. First swing 15k. I would imagine this swing, the target would kind of tell us what is the Jeremy's strategy. Is he going
Yeah,
to end the game or is he going to buy him another round?
it's very tricky because you also play the Frieza here. Does not prevent you from swinging with your Unison, which is very nice
hmm
with all those effects. So it's going to be interesting to see what the choices.
Yep. I would love to see a power of the Super Saiyan to tap down that Unison card, though.
Oh,
Yes!
yes, you are in luck.
Yeah. Here we go. Tap one and bring down the power of the Super Saiyan. I think this is one of the Vegeta badass moment,
Hmm.
right? When he was taking Android 19 out.
Yep, yeah. It's such a
Wow.
it's there are a few
Mhm.
cards that I will distinctly say the SPR is the better choice. Frieza Charismatic Villain, which we see Jeremy have a full
Mhm.
playset of, is one
Mhm.
of them, and that power of the Super Saiyan is another one. It is very
Wow,
good.
it's so good. I kind of love the. I have both. I have the SR version and the SPR
Hmm.
version because I'm a really big fan of the artwork when it comes to Dragon Ball Super card game. For me, it
Yeah.
was always kind of like the artwork first. And
Hmm.
the reason why I like the SR is because you have 19 behind. I
Yeah.
always have like a soft spot for 19. Quite a
Hmm.
poor guy. Oh.
Yeah, this is a strong play. He doesn't have to discard a card because that is twice as large as the 20k Koisekai gap. So
Hmm.
uh, that is. I mean,
Well.
you could charismatic Frieza right now and pop something else on the board, but
Hmm.
yikes.
Yep. Well, Smoke Dragon would be the more exciting SPR, but SCR. But if you're just talking about the SCR that he needed at the moment, it's gonna be Pawn Time Petro Maiden. This lady counterattack, play the card. The opponent, which is Jeremy here, cannot attack with battle cards for the turn.
Yeah, and having
Hmm.
you that extra 5k because Toa gave the leader 5k. But
It's
man,
Yep,
what
it's
a
finished. Yep.
yeah, I think we're going to turn three, which is terrible news for if there were any casters here who need to use a restroom break. But I think we can get through this last match.
Yep.
No one
Well,
naming no one in particular.
yeah, no, no one in particular. I already took my bathroom break,
Yes.
leaving Espira alone,
Hmm.
tanking it for me.
Yes. Meanwhile, my back-to-back games are really starting to take their toll, but I
Hmm.
think we'll be okay.
All right. He's gonna play this card, tap one, and oh, he can't do it. He can't do it.
No, he can do it. He just has to warp two first.
Yeah, and then he draws two. I think that's a good choice if he wants to do that. Take some dead cards out from his hands. Actually, it does provide him with an opportunity.
Yeah, so
What?
a Goku ape and
Well, he doesn't need that because he's not gonna go for a defensive play anymore.
uh-huh.
Pick
And he
one
does
card
get to
out
draw two right afterwards, but
and
yeah.
repulse. Why not? Yep. Defensive card and draw two, and hopefully he gets a better card this time. And the best part is, even though he can remove it, everything I would imagine that everything that he plays, it's gonna be. Oh, he's gonna remove that. Maiden.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is the scariest card on the field, even though no doubt there's going to be more pressure this next turn either way.
Yep. It's wow. Okay, a pretty good one because that combo power is something that you don't want to deal with 15k. However, it's a situation that is so difficult for Jeremy because even if he can make sure and said, okay, nothing on the board, it can come in anymore. The
Hmm.
problem is, if you take a look, there are already quite a lot of stuff on the board.
Yep, and he resolved it a little late, but resolved the Broly to pop the token, which is not
Mm-hmm.
going to be doing well, and it's a lot of pressure this next turn.
Mm-hmm. Why the token though?
Because I think the High Dragon for the combo power is better. And the token
Yep.
doesn't have blocker anymore. It's just a 10k you can't even combo with. So
Mm-hmm. His opponent chooses, and he's not the one who.
yes,
Okay, so
yes.
kind of balance there.
Hmm. But if they only have one card, then it's and you can't choose a card with barrier either. So
Mm-hmm. All right.
swing in with the demi. So we haven't seen a secret rare yet, so that could be popping down. But even so, oh, and you could steal away the Trunks unison too. That'd be really nasty.
Ooh, true, true, true. Just be careful. Just be careful here. With the hand, I'm pretty sure he has it, leaving the two energy open.
Hmm.
Yep, I agree with you. Lorenzo here really needs to be careful.
Yeah.
Most probably, maybe he's just setting him up. Lorenzo is in a very dangerous position. If he's not careful, he's swing with his trunks, going in for the game, tapping to steal the trunks. Because, it's a double strike target.
And looks like he's going to combo out of it with one of each of his drop area cards, and then playing the
Oh,
boo. Yeah,
he's doing it now.
yeah, very interesting. And he is, I think, going to use the spirit
Okay,
boost to
he's
steal
gonna
it
steal
away,
it. Mm-hmm.
which to me means he doesn't have any charismatic freezes to use with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay,
he must have
interesting
a
choice.
super foil version there because it's it's very shiny.
Yeah. You know, wow, okay, that is super, super shiny. Well, the thing here is, why do you think that Jeremy is not going to bait him into going in for the game with the unison?
I think he respects Lorenzo to know that that is a an option, and if he was to swing for game, it would probably be with that higher dragon. So
Mm-hmm. So here we go with that margin boo on the board. It's not just stealing your opponent's unison card because that is the auto with Spirit Boost, which is pays for it.
mhm.
The thing over here, it's when you play this card from your hand, your opponent can attack with battle cards for the turn, which is very, very important.
Yes. So if
Hmm.
he doesn't have another unison in his hand, and the deck doesn't play a lot of them either, you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yep, correct. But he has 5 energy open, a pretty nice hand. Um, Take note also, Jeremy, because he's playing a such leader, however powerful they are, they do not have the ability anymore, access to his ability anymore, and he does not draw any cards.
Yeah,
Mhm. So, however, when it comes to Lorenzo, he does have a second win con, which is just to make sure that
I
Jeremy
think he's
just.
asking for cards in drop just to see what he has to play around.
Mhm. I think maybe he's just looking for, yeah, Champa,
We see
and
one
also
Champa, so
final
not
flashes.
viable,
For
and
super
and
combo, it's out.
yeah,
Hmm.
if there's any unisons in there either. And
Oh,
the
I
thing
think
is,
there's
like,
only one.
you want to say what's in drop, but you don't want to say like, all right, how many unisons are in there? Because you telegraph to your opponent what cards are there, right? And seeing that
Yep,
there are
correct.
no unisons in there, it's not outrageous to say that there might be another
Hmm.
one in hand.
Or maybe you are asking directly and said, "Do you have any unison in there too?"
Yeah,
Hmm. So some tips for players, viewers.
yeah, and comboing two cards that are honestly pretty useless because of that. Oh, that is so strong. He was able to rest that Boo unison with the leader or with the legendary Super Saiyan, and then
Hmm.
pop with the turtles.
Yep. Take note. Majin Buu himself does not take away the ability of your opponent to play a battle card. It just says that they cannot attack. So now it's just in a much better situation for our Icarus player, Lorenzo, because we take away that 40k double strike threat on the board.
So here's like a really interesting situation we're in.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have what 6 energy, so you can start doing rebrands and stuff. If they have any, Debors or stuff, they can use them. But I don't think that Lorenzo has a lot of cards to, be drawing from his deck. I think he's got like 5 cards left in deck as well.
Hmm. Hmm. So that's why Lorenzo does have the second strategy, which is just to play out the game because
Hmm.
that draw at the start, it's mandatory.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, that is also against a such player because such player doesn't draw to, so
Yeah,
keeping him alive just a little bit longer.
yeah.
Oh, he's counting his energy. So I think he maybe it's gonna go for mega destruction.
We'll have to see. Does the I forget? Does the Blue Unison take it with the same amount of markers, right? So that Trunks has 3, assumedly.
Yes, it just says gain control of it.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Oh, here we go. We saw Rebrand, and then we saw also Debura. He's gonna tap one and draw two cards.
Okay, that's dangerous. He's got like maybe 5 cards left in there.
Oh, that is his deck. I thought
Yes,
that
yeah.
the super white one is his deck.
No, no, super white one
So
is
that's
the
a drop area.
drop area. Yeah.
Drop area. He's gonna do it again and challenge him and says, "Okay, let's see who is the one who's gonna do it first. You don't really have too much option. He's just gonna plain drop it. Okay, but wasting 4 energy though, that is a lot. Down
Yeah,
to
that is
two.
a large investment, and 3 has a lot
Mm-hmm.
of good cards. I think you just want to. Oh, Toa. All right, sure. Pop another.
Mm-hmm. So guys, take note. What's on the board right now? That very shiny yellow card. That is the Trunks Unison 20k dual attack. Ooh, this is gonna be a 15k swing, and then the leader gains an additional 5k.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Power of the Super Saiyan. Wow, such a great
Oh,
card. Tapping
another
that
one.
Unison
Oh,
down. Ooh, power of the Super Saiyan. And then, ooh, we
oh,
saw. Wow,
just
tapping himself
ending
out.
it.
Yep. So I think that it's so interesting, this back and forth. This is such a, I know this is also a very long game. I have
Hmm.
another game to cast after this. Um,
This is my
but
last one of the day, but they're
yeah,
dragging me along with it, and I am
yeah,
okay
but
with it.
this is gonna be really, this is so fun because during Lorenzo when he was unable to finish, I thought that Jeremy is gonna have the game. But you can see that what's going on with Lorenzo taking care of the threat, and then he just turns it around.
Yeah, it looks like
He's
okay, he's
gonna do a
popping a
-3.
card, drawing a
Yep.
card, but yeah, we're getting to kind of time situations, and I'm surprised he's still trucking along.
Hmm. Because if we know right now, this is 1-0 to Jeremy. So Lorenzo, it's in a backseat right now, and he needs this game to go into game number 3.
Hmm. Oh yes, the slug to prevent him from drawing the last
Of
cards of the
course.
deck.
With the 4 super combo for Jeremy, his of all 4 super combo is finished already. So he is gonna go for a 30k swing, magical number. He needs to take it. He's gonna swing with most probably Bagamo, because this is gonna be no.
Well, I
He's
don't
gonna
think
draw
he's.
even more. He might die. Okay, 20k double strike
I
swing.
don't know how many cards are in that deck, but I don't think he can swing with his. Oh, he's only got the one card.
Oh, he took it. Okay,
Oh,
so
oh,
this
that
is
is the
down
double
to
strike. Yeah,
1-1.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So right now we are in a situation where we are tied 1-1 to
Oh, he had
Jeremy and
one. Oh,
Lorenzo.
jeez. Oh man.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay,
So yeah,
here
we
we
are
go.
going into game 3. Is I think going to be Jeremy's first time playing first in this match, which I think will help him a lot more, and maybe get him on the play for some moves. So we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of hand destruction at the start? Because that was so effective in game number 1, right?
Hmm.
But we don't really see it in game number 2. Do you think it's a situation where Jeremy just doesn't have the right card in his hands?
I would have to assume that. I would say uh, he seemed to have made a lot of plays that I didn't agree with compared to like plays I could be making on those turns. He wasn't able to get the Celsinos very early to get the card draw, and he defended his life a lot, which I was
Mm-hmm.
really curious he ended up doing that.
Yeah. I think one of the telling signs that he does not have the right cards like Koizukai in his hands is just simply because every time he does a hand destruction, it is by random. We saw that he
Hmm.
defended
Hmm.
his cards, his life with Cell Kamehameha. Maybe
Yeah.
that is what he wants to do to prevent the players from being able to activate Debura.
Yes, yeah, for sure, and I think that that worked for him a little bit, but it wasn't enough gas. And towards the end of the game, you did get a lot of discards, and the hand size was just down to 5. But and I am really curious to know why he decided to keep going, and especially when we've already been playing for an hour this at this time,
Hmm.
and kind of continue from there.
Yep. Take note, there's also some fatigue coming from Lorenzo's side because before that, he has already, like our caster here, Egman, already done another 1.5 hours game. So this is going to be game number two. And there are some supporters here in our viewers. Please give them a shout out, give them some support. This is going to be game number three. And I think the players are almost setting up their life. Jeremy, it's going to go first. And the first energy, it's already down.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too. Like turn one, he wasn't able to play a Demigra last turn, so being able to just do it off the gate like that, I think, is pretty good. He did have to charge the Cells Earth Destroying Kamehameha, which has gotten him a lot of gas previously, but I think he's in a good spot.
Hmm. This game itself does benefit from going first, and I think just drawing a card if you're going second does not really helps with the situation because I
Hmm.
think going first, basically, it's very important. I remember many months ago, someone says that, "Hey, what is the one advantage play that you're gonna have?" And someone just says going first,
Hmm.
right? And
But
I think a lot of people agrees with that.
I think going first is definitely advantage of some decks, but I think what makes a deck go from good to great is having similar advantage are still a playstyle going second, and I think that's what Higher Dragon does. I think that's what Self Surge does, and it can be very good.
Very interesting charge from our self-search
Mm,
players to sell Kamehameha. It's already down on the energy.
yes,
Interesting.
yeah, he does. He does. I think play four. I think we've seen four, which is I mean, oh, the max you can play, obviously, right? But normally, I try to cap out at three because they can be a little bit, dead in hand, and they can be a little costly to pay that one to activate them. But looks like I'm guessing he's just saw a lot of them. He's like, you know what? I want to not have to use these, and I want all my free combo cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Interesting choice. Is he gonna be taking a life? No, he's just gonna be
No,
drawing a card. Interesting strategy.
and then
And he's
drawing
gonna be
more
tapping
cards.
to just to draw more cards.
And I think
Cards.
we've seen a lot of Lord Slugs being popped down and everything else, but it's also key to me that we don't see a turn one play from Lorenzo. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see if we see a turn two play, but we get two of those extra cards. So Mecha Frieza is down to one. Not that that's been an impactful card this match, but there we go.
Mm-hmm. No, there are quite a lot of. I mean, if we are going to be facing against Koizukai, which he knows that he's going to be facing against Koizukai, that card it's unfortunately going to hurt more than it's going to help.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yep. All right,
Got
here
an
we
ape
go.
of his own.
Ooh, is that a sideboard option? And this is the championship ape. The interesting part is this ape is actually cheaper than the original ape.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, finally a reprint. This will be affordable." That was not the case.
It
Everyone's
is a
else,
really good card, though. It
yes,
is a really
yes.
good card. Hmm.
I think it's been viable since it first came out.
Yeah, you can combo it. You can draw the two from it, and well, we all know also that the original ape is just a little bit more bling than the championship ape, so it is slightly better.
Yes, and the nice thing about decks like Cell Surge and previously the Red Yellow Invoker is that you know this Cell Surge specifically, it's you charge only green. It's almost a mono green deck. However, you do need those yellow cards to awaken, and having those
Hmm.
apes be viable and be able to use the effects without having to have specific yellow energy is what makes it very good for this deck.
Hmm. You know what would be interesting? Cell search against cell search. Because sometimes when you are hand destructing somebody,
No.
I can hear your excitement, Ekman.
uh, I would say okay. There are very few matches where I think the mirror match would be fun, strictly because one player has to go first, and that's normally the clincher for it. But not always, but a
Hmm.
good sometimes.
Here we go. And this would be a very good chance for you to play a hand destruction card because your opponent does not have the energy to pay for it.
Yes, he can
Debura,
play
however,
the Gohans, but definitely not the Deborahs.
hmm, yep, you can play the Gohan, but not the Debura. Ooh, he's going to be dropping his SCR Bergamo.
Oh, he's swinging with Cell Surge Leader. Unheard
Ooh,
of.
Yeah, me too. Unheard of. Unheard of. He's gonna go. He's gonna do a +1, and he is swinging. Eggman, what's happening here?
I think he's decided, you know what? I was too defensive last game, and he's tapped out. And I think I want to capitalize on that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like he's going to awaken kind of early, get that draw
Mm-hmm.
two, and go from there. He's got Rosie. He's got two more swings incoming, so
Yep.
we'll have to see.
It's pretty safe because I think he has decided, Rosie, a triple attacker, it's you a hand destruction strategy because right now with all the cards that the Gohan player just gains back, he has to use it to defend himself right now, forcing him to use a super combo. 15 against 15 using a super combo to defend is just not efficient.
Yeah, and I think this definitely would catch me by surprise if I were Lorenzo. Like the last
Mm-hmm.
two games, he's barely done any interaction with me the first couple turns,
Yep.
and so he felt safe to discard the ape to draw two, and now he's like, okay, cool, you've tapped out. I'm going to put some pressure on you. You don't have any cards on board, and I do have a Unison to play Charismatic Frieza with. It's going to be kind of tricky for him to kind of establish those boards that Higher Dragon is known
Yep.
for.
You can already see that even though he gave the Gohan player the ability to self-awaken, but he awakens in his term, which is not on
Hmm.
his own term during his opponent's turn. He's gonna miss out on one card draw. That is a -1. Swing with the Rosie, taking another super combo out of his opponent's hands. That is another minus, and then he's gonna
Oh.
swing again, hit his opponent combos again. This is a -3 and one super combo. That is such a good play. This is such high caliber player. I am learning as I am casting.
Yes. So now the basil gets out. It does have the dual attack. I think he was considering doing the destruction on it, but I don't. I think he's like, you know what? That's fine. We'll take the life. I don't know if he swung into leader or demi, but he took it.
Mm-hmm. And Basil is such a powerful card. I think this gains the dual attack with 19k just for one cost, and you get to draw that card. Such a good card.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. And there is like a lot of this type of furries. I think like the wolf from
Yeah.
universe. Which universe are they
I
from? Nine.
believe it's Universe 9.
Hmm. And during our breaks, we talk about we wanting to see more leaders from the universe coming in, right? Like another Tournament of Power set.
Yeah, I mean, we did see the spoiled card today. That it
Ooh.
does have some universe tags, and we'll probably see some gods from the other universes. So
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see what other cards kind of pop up from this
Yeah.
next set.
You know what I want? Like as much as like Realm of the Gods, I would love to have a Goku Black reboot.
Hmm.
But I also do want a Xeno reboot because the Xeno, I think just having battle cards that does not have the universe tag, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't affect the extra card, don't affect the unison card. And because he just affects unison extra card because of the wording, that is almost not playable right now.
Yeah, it's from the first and only Ultimate box, and I think the Zeno was really really cool, and it had some fun like maiden decks that went around it as well. But
Hmm.
I think if it could get rebooted, kind of like how Announcer was rebooted to kind of support like the current Unison stuff and everything else, I think that'd be a great one. And it's a god, and we've got this next set revolving around gods, so
Hmm.
that'd be a good pick for me.
Now the board state, we can see that the Cell Search player and also our Icarus player, Jeremy and Lorenzo, down to 4 life. And he's going to be tapping one, setting Koizukai, taking away hand destruction choices. He can untap 2, so maybe he can tap 2 for rebrand. Just to. Is there a rebrand? No, there's only another draw apes, I think, in his drop area.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out over here is I really appreciate the players putting their camera angles like that.
Hmm.
Sometimes the card might be a little bit small, but cannot see. But I really appreciate just being able to see their hands, their hand size, and everything. Mm,
Yeah, I've
That's
played a
some.
lot of online tournaments, and some people have. Oh, geez, another Rosie. My goodness. Some people have, and I understand why, because it's not always easy to have the technology,
Hmm.
the space for it. But both these players have fantastic spacing, maybe some better lighting every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
There's some sun every once in a while, but I think we play card games inside a lot, so that extra sun goes a long way.
Yeah, correct. And yeah, so I think when it comes to Jeremy, he changed his strategy now, which is he wants to go hand destruction plus also going in for some pressure because pressure, giving pressure to your opponent, pressing them, it's also hand destruction because your opponent needs to commit cards in their hands to combo out. And Rosie does just that perfectly. Triple attacker.
Yeah, and you want to kind of start with Rosie because if they played the legendary Super Saiyan extra card, which is there it is,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want the triple attack to be tapped down. So
Yeah. But
uh,
he can tap the second Rosie.
that looks like it's just the
No.
Demi. Interesting.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Because the Rosie it's gonna go for triple swing though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demi can only swing for one time, and all of them are gonna swing at 15k. But
Well,
I
so the Rosie doesn't have triple attack anymore. It's only when you play it.
okay, okay,
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
okay. That's great because I think maybe he wants to bait it into a final flash too. That is also an option.
You could Final Flash the first swing, and
Mm-hmm. Okay, we know why now.
yes, I see.
Yeah. Okay, playing it quite early at this stage, but the target on the board it's very, very tempting to take because Rosie, when she gains control of it, it is a 15k on the board. At least there is a good target to pick.
I don't know if he did the +1 of Demi yet, or because I don't know if he went down from 3 or 4, but he can pop both these cards with a Demigra -3 if he has that available to him.
Ooh, correct. Yeah, because Basil, it's still one course, even though it is a 19k.
Yeah,
A really good
and
pickup. Mm-hmm.
also with the cards that are on board, it does make it um, it goes from an 8 cost to a 2 cost, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why he paid 2 for it.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to Demigrada -3, you can pick something 3 or less, ignoring Barra, kill it, and then choose one of your opponent's battle card, regardless.
Yeah,
Kill it.
but getting the untapped 2, unfortunately, 2 is not like the greatest number because you can't do like a Broly unison after that, which I think would be the next play you'd want. But
Mm-hmm.
you could, I don't know, play a Majin Buu if you really wanted to.
Yeah, true. I think it's keeping his 2 energy open. That would buy him a turn because he should be swinging with his battle cards. However, he's gonna play his 4th energy Lorenzo for the next turn. That means the unison is gonna be online. He's gonna be
Yeah,
choosing the cell search ability to pop the SCR. Good
I
choice.
think I think he did the +1 on the Demigrade too soon because if he could have left it there and popped both those cards without having to force that, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I think it was a real decision too. Do I want to pop the pan or do I want to make everything come into rest mode next turn?
Yep, correct. So he decided to pop the pan, which is a 40k swing, and that kind of tells me that maybe he does not have that Majin Buu in his hands, right? Because if not, he can actually stop it from swinging.
I think he could. I think he could have it, and he's just waiting for more value next turn and make sure on the defense. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. So he uses his cell search ability to choose up to one of his opponent's battle card and KO it, and choose one of their cards in their hands and place it in the drop area. This is random. Your opponent doesn't choose this, but he forgo until the start of the next turn. His opponent are still going to be playing battle cards that are in active mode. It's gonna be so scary.
And pops the basil, which is nice. That does get a lot of value next turn if he had enough cards rested. But it looks like he's just passing. Can he swing with that?
How does he pop the basil? I missed that.
He swung into it with the leader.
Ooh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like he forgot that the pan. I think he's wondering if it says you can't swing with other battle cards for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's I have a strong feeling a judge might be clarifying that right now.
All right, let's take a look. What are some of the okay? What are some of the options? Now we are down to game four. What I appreciate right now is don't think that the game they went down to four lives so quickly and this is going to be a quick game. Between these two decks, the whole game kind of starts when they're down to four life. That's when you see that they're
Yes.
going to make their more critical play. That's when you're going to see that they're going to use their hands to combo. And yeah, so this is what we're going to be seeing.
So
So
he's using the charismatic Frieza on uh, that Gohan, which I'm surprised he did. I feel like that's kind of early for it, but especially if there's like turtles or something to add some more pressure. But I guess he really doesn't want that card draw to be free.
mhm. I think one of the there's nothing on his opponent's board, like Jeremy's board, that is very, very painful.
Hmm.
Here we go, Super Namekian on the board itself, and there is nothing to help him with
Nope.
the Bond 2 so far. So he needs to kind of commit and see how is he going to be getting that. He's going to swing though with this just alone.
Yep.
Nope, it's not.
Nope. Thinking.
Yeah, teleportation.
Oh, okay. Getting rid
Okay,
of a card.
hmm Very, very good option here. The reason is this that the Bond 2 does not need to it to be a yellow card, even though it is until the end of the turn. When he's
Hmm.
going to swing with this Bardox, when he's going to be swinging with this leader, when he's going to be swinging with Super Namekian Lord Slug, his opponent's super combo is not going to be online.
Correct. Yeah, and it
Mm.
gets him like a little bit less combo power if he wanted to also swing over this. But it's going to be interesting to me if he's going to decide to pop the or kind of like swing into the Demigra or swing into the leader because the Demigra can use its -3 to pop the slug next turn and not kind of mitigate the power of what that really is.
Yeah, true. And but the Demigra, the player,
Oh,
ooh, here we go.
it's the
Mhm.
large boy.
Okay. It is a really, really powerful card, this guy. Two energy, he is not going to be stealing that unison. I don't think he wants to do a Spirit Boost 2 right now, because there's no unison
No,
to be stealing.
there's no
Hmm.
reason for it. And I think
Yeah.
he's safe saying, you know what? Battle cards can't swing. He doesn't have enough energy to play a unison right now.
Hmm.
And it's going to be very difficult to do 3 damage from this state.
Yeah, correct. So swing maybe at that unison and try to take that marker off. If not, it is still going to be. Oh, okay. He doesn't care about that one
Yeah,
marker.
I would
Saving a
not care
life,
about
it's
that.
just way more
Yeah.
important. Hmm.
And ending the turn.
Yeah. All right. Untapping the energy. Guess what he will be doing first? I think it's going to be a -3.
I think he's going to charge first, but then, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. You know, you know, this is not just a gotcha moment. I think this also explains that the players have so much fatigue too, right?
Hmm.
That just take a look at them. They've been playing the whole entire day, and some of them have been playing yesterday too. So yeah, there's a high chance that such mistake will be made. And if they are making that mistake, understandable. And if you're not making those mistakes, that means they're still being very, very focused at their games. And I think that's what also separates them for being just like a player and a really, really good players. And all of these players who are here, they are already a winner in my book because they have already been the best in their region.
And paying the two. Yeah, I would say the only difference I would make is that depending on what my plan was, if I'm trying to swing in or do something else, I would wait for him to play like a Mecha Frieza or like a counter attack to make it so, or even play this Toa, right? Because this Toa will let me, if they play like a Deborah for free,
Mm-hmm.
which maybe if that's a yes,
Mm-hmm.
then I would be able to pop that Deborah as well with the Demigra effect. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my only issue with the play like that. But it
Yep.
looks like he wanted to get that draw too, which maybe he forgot that he could draw without the bond two being active. That could have been the case there too.
Mm-hmm. Question over here. Do you see that there is a card in a sleeve on top of the mat? Is that a sideboard? What is that card?
Uh,
For
card
Germany.
with for Jeremy, card with sleeve on top of the mat
Yeah.
on the far left.
Yeah.
Or
On just on top of charismatic villain.
Oh, the
Okay, that's the
sideboard. Yeah.
sideboard.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just in front of. Yeah. Not on top. Gotcha.
I thought he stole something or something.
No. No, he is
Hmm.
not. So that is the effect. Looks like.
Okay,
Yeah.
Egman, is this the
Hmm.
first repulse that we see in this game?
I think it is. I
You.
honestly think it is. It is not. There's not been a lot played for sure.
Hmm. And this repulse will always be one energy because in his energy area, it also includes energy area. There are already two yellow extra cards. And here we go. We can see the power of control coming in with repulse, making sure his opponent needs to tap an additional card when he wants
Hmm.
to go for a swing. And then Putin comes with the effect that the first card, it's going to be in rest mode.
Yeah, I definitely think that Jeremy could have sequenced this turn a little bit stronger right now. I don't know
Hmm.
if cards are in hand either, so I could be wrong there. But I very least you could pop one more thing with Demigra, but we will have to
Hmm.
see. I could see it. What a Broly coming down though. Maybe use the effect to pop or rest something.
Which Broly?
The Dark Broly. I could see that unison coming down, and
Ooh.
that could swing. But I think he's going to be out of cards to rest for those effects too.
Yeah, and having a unison right now, it's also really, really nice just to keep those free counterplay. At least you have a charismatic villain online, and we already talk about this when it comes to this Dark Broly unison, this 20k, which is a blast too. It's gonna stick on the board, so your opponent has to kind of play around that charismatic villain Frieza.
And he didn't Koisakai this turn. He Koisakai's previous turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Take note of that. There wasn't any Koizukai this turn.
So my and I believe we're just starting overtime, so this should be turn 0.
Mm-hmm. How does
Uh,
the overtime work?
so it is 15 minutes overtime, and each player has essentially 3 turns. So current turn is turn 0, and then it
Mm-hmm.
passes back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. And the player with how does it win?
I believe we go to life totals from there, and then
Ooh.
continuing from there, some additional magic that I don't know about, but it
Mm-hmm.
is documented. It is on me to not know about it.
Okay. It is pretty interesting right now. He's
Oh, so this is this is very funny. So that slug you pay for 3, and it needs to be in rest mode to get its effects. So you just you don't even get to swing. Like you get that free floodgate there.
mm-hmm. So that's pretty good. So super combo, it's offline right now. He can use it, of course, for the 0+10k, but he doesn't
Yes.
get the draw effect.
That is correct, and it is
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate if you were perhaps a Cell Surge enthusiast.
Mm-hmm. The unfortunate part is that self-search leader, we mentioned this over and over again, does not draw after he awakens. He has 2 times to use his ability, both times have already been used.
And comboing the big boy Cell, which is a 10k, but will be doing significantly less with that slug on the board.
Mm-hmm. This is what I call a Cell Xeno at home. So he combos with Cell Xeno at home. This is a dead card in his drop area. He can actually gain a +1 from his life if he wants to, but now we are calling time. We are going to overtime. Maybe this is really not a very good idea.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of pressure, and I would say, there is
Mm-hmm.
another Coit, so that will give him some potential. You don't want to shuffle cards back into the deck though, because you could just do that for free. You won't get the card drop with that slug out.
Mm-hmm.
But
And maybe he really doesn't want to overwhelm right now.
the big thing is that I don't see immediately a way to pop that Majin Buu,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is a strong position.
How did he do it the previous time? He did manage to pop that Majin Buu, right? Oh,
I
with
believe he
Turtles,
popped it
Turtles.
with yeah, turtles are a Trunks, I believe. I don't remember if Trunks is energy cost specific.
Mm-hmm. But all he needs to do is to negate it. I think that should be a good way to go.
Okay, Trunks does not needs a 4 or less. So I think it was a turtles that
Yep,
popped it.
it was a Turtles that comes in for just 2 energy. Even though he cannot swing, which because Majin Buu was on the board, he was still able to pop it because he can still play a battle card.
Yeah, and it looks like he's just going for some cycle, looking for some cards and applying some pressure. I don't think he can end the turn here, but that is 25k, and setting him up for 2 means that next turn is going to be very good for him.
Mm-hmm. Wow, he's down to 2 life now. So this is turn 0, and I think it's going to end. So this is turn 1.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
probably based on what I'm seeing, his last turn, anyways, in a lot of ways. I think he needs to make this turn count, and if he can't win on this turn, he's just going to have a hard time closing, just surviving this next turn.
Mm-hmm. But the player we know, both of them has already shown their SCR. So he's going to
Yep.
go for Majin Buu, double strike. He's
Oh, he
rethinking. Yeah, please do that. Thank you.
he's just like he didn't lift his hand off it, and he just like looked over to his drop here. He's like, oh yeah,
Pretty
that
good
guy.
ones. So guys in the audience, Ko Izukai, it's on, it's activated right now and it's active. So anything that's 20k or less, not once per turn, everything that he plays that's 20k or less, he needs to opt to. Interesting choice because there is
Actually
no
negating it.
target.
No, actually, it's a negate too. That's people don't use
Ooh.
it that often, but it's I will definitely spend 1 to negate a 40k double strike.
Oh, okay. So here we go. He is going to overwhelm this, give the leader additional +1. Your opponent needs to discard 1. What is the assessment from you so far? Who does have the advantage?
Well, I'd say like the unfortunate thing about that is you would 100% have wanted to play that Celzino to draw a card, and I'd even take a life at this point. I'd be like, you know what, I need to go in, I need to do pressure, and I definitely would have done that.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. 15k. I think the option is
There's also 5 energy, which is not a
a
little.
lot.
Yeah, it is a
Yep.
lot.
Mm-hmm. And yep. You know what's one thing that I always do when my opponent asks me for my hand size? I
Tell
always
them.
ask them back.
I do that every time.
I mean, sometimes it's really annoying, like your opponent hand size,
Yes.
and you just want to
Yes.
punish them for that, and then you go
Hmm.
like hand size.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a real question, and webcams make it that much more difficult to know that. And it's yeah, when you have a way to make your opponent discard 4 cards, you want to make sure that you can get rid of them. But yeah, not a lot of cards in that hand. 3. He's doing the super combo.
Hmm. And what about our self search player? He has a stack of cards over there, but it doesn't look that much either,
Yeah.
right? But he cannot end this turn because once he ended this turn, look at all the stuff on the board right there. It's not going to be funny for him.
Yeah, and it looks like Lorenzo forgot to
Oof.
trigger the poutine trigger off the Datoa being played as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. You need to declare when it comes to poutine, you have only the first card that's played with skills. And if you don't do that, you kind of miss your turn.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
it
up
says
to the
choose up
player.
to 1, so you chose 0.
Hmm. Correct. And it is not that every time your opponent plays, you can choose that. It's only the first card that's being played. So there is kind of like a way to get around it. Especially if your opponent, oh no, if it's a mirror match like Gohan, you can always trigger the monster as your first one. Your opponent has to choose that. If he doesn't choose that, you forgo your chance to do that. Hmm.
So swing in with the leader. He needs this swing to connect and have a dark Broly to swing in with as well.
Hmm. Well, it is going to be very difficult for him because with that 5 energy open, it is always like it's going to be very, very scary. What card would that be? It seems to be like a Final Flash. Yes.
Oh, it is a Final Flash. Okay. So here's like the super secret tech you can do. You can play a freeze Cell Xeno from your hand by just getting that Toa off, which maybe.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
doing that.
yeah, love
Hmm.
that move. So
But
now
this is
that's a
going to
big
be.
30k beat stick.
Hmm.
You just have to have 4 more energy, and then
Yep.
Uh, Assumingly no negates left, so goes there and then sees if Dark Broly can finish the game.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Dark Broly swings first because you want to make sure that double strike gets in. It prevents him from even having the reinforcement swing.
Mm-hmm. Take
Getting
note
some,
this.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Sorry, just getting the discard as well. So down to one card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's swinging with that first.
Well, this is dangerous now. Okay, he's gonna
Yes.
take it.
All right. Last swing of probably the game, the
Mm-hmm.
match.
Here
My
we go.
commentating career for this day of final,
Okay,
all
it's
three super
finished.
combos. That is it. Whew. A very close game. Jeremy able to take it 2-1 in overtime, getting a 2-1 record and a very good shot at getting to the second weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go. And I don't know. I no doubt, no full faith in that. But it was very close, and I think both players played it super well. A lot of Dragon Ball Super. Also, Lorenzo's been playing Dragon Ball Super for like 5 hours straight at this point too,
Mm-hmm.
with minimal breaks between them. So I have no fault on that, and congrats to both players for such a performance.
Yep. Definitely a really, really